Okay, Luke, part 2. So we'll continue with the 14 muscle balance. Once again, leaning into Luke's energy. I am 100% Luke, working for Luke's higher self. Okay, so energy that we're connecting to with Luke. To 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to 90 to 100. Beautiful. Okay. So we're in the small intestine energy. Okay. So heart energy, small intestine. Okay, and there's that big small intestine brain connection, so that gut brain connection. Okay, brain, okay, heart. Let us know what we need to do. Okay, so the small intestine, we make a lot of our serotonin in the small intestine. So the anything going on with the gut is messing with your feel-good hormones. Okay, so oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, improving feel-good hormones, flooding every cell in the body with feel-good hormones, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. I am loved, I am lovable, I am love. So, adrenal, survival, deep survival. All right, so there's some deep survival in relation to the gut with what's going on. So we can end up with like emotional scar tissue in our abdominal organs. Okay, do I need to go into EMC, MMC, PVSS? So there is actually a bit of a survival pattern in here that's messing with the small intestine energy. Okay, so the first little area showing up is the cerebellar vermis. Now, this part of the brain, so the cerebellum's in the rear of the brain, and it's like a big hard drive. It stores a whole bunch of information about everything that's ever happened to us. So even the connections that go from left to right sides of the brain, when we've had head injuries and when we've been attacked and that sort of thing, sometimes those connections from left to right don't work very well, but your cerebellum will have a memory of everything that's ever happened. So if we can't connect from the left to right sides of the brain, then the brain goes into the cerebellum and back out to sort of reconnect those pathways instead of going left, right, if it just can't do that. So the cerebellar vermis has memory of all sorts of things. But when it's out of kilter, the emotions for what's going on or what's going on doesn't marry hand in hand with the emotions with what's going on. So just say, life is really good, there's no reason to be stressed, but we're feeling really stressed. The cerebellar vermis can't, there's a mismatch going on. And it can affect our balance. So when this part of the brain, it goes in through the fastigial nucleus, which connects to the parabrachial nucleus, and these little parts of the brain are all about balance. So it can be that we are not, and then what sort of balance? So it can be the physical balance in our body, so feeling clumsy and walking into things or stubbing your toe all the time or hitting your shoulder, or it can be that spiritual, emotional, mental balance that's out of kilter, where it's just hard to stay calm and at peace in your life. Okay, and that was a pain punishment circuit. So yeah, because of the old circuitry within your PTSD, your brain doesn't want to let that go because it's keeping you safe. If you stay vigilant, you stay safe. But the more you're vigilant, the more it shuts down your ability to digest, because digestion isn't important if you're about to get eaten by a tiger. Okay, next little area showing up is the anterior cingulate gyrus. This little area sets up a lot of our compulsions and a lot of our PTSD behavior. So what behavior do we get into when the PTSD kicks in? And it's different for everyone. You know, some people smoke too much, some people drink too much, some people go running. You know, I wish that was me. Some people, you know, sort of clean. So, you know, people do all sorts of things when the PTSD kicks in. Okay, next little area is the orbitofrontal cortex. This is all about conflict. So the part of the brain that just, and that can be conflict about how you feel about yourself, you know, knowing you're a good person but picking on yourself, or knowing you're a decent human being but people wanting to lay all their crap on you. So conflict can be in so many different parts of our lives. 25:15. Rage, anger, frustration. Okay, so there's some conflict. So there's, okay, so is that internalized? Yeah, so there's something that is like an anger that's just welling up inside that hasn't been released and let go of. And that can be resentment, it can be frustration, it can be feeling distressed, as well as the big things like wrath and rage, or even just internalized unhappiness. They're all in the same family of emotions. Okay. Releasing any and all rage, anger, frustration that's no longer serving you. Releasing any and all rage, anger, frustration that's no longer serving you. Okay, reticular activating system. That's the hormones that we release when something new is happening in our world. So released or shut down. So your brain is looking forward to having serotonin released with new stuff, but at the moment there's a fear that that's not going to happen. So there's a vigilance going on that's not allowing serotonin to be released because of a disbelief that the stress is going to be less at any time soon. Okay. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. Releasing feel-good hormones and allowing them to flood every cell in the body. Releasing feel-good hormones, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, allowing them to flood every cell in the body. Okay. So that was also small intestine energy. Interesting. Okay, so going back to the 14 muscle balance. So central governing lung, heart, circumflex, stomach, large intestine. Okay, so large intestine is showing up. Okay, so what do we need to do first? Okay, digestive valves. So there's 4 valves that separate the areas of the digestion. So your belly button and your right hip bone, halfway between them on the right side. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. That's the one next to the appendix. And just to the right of the belly button and up slightly. little swirl. Breathe in and out. And breathe in and out. And where your rib cage meets, just put your little fingers at the bottom of where they meet. That's the xiphoid process. And breathe in and out. Push down. Breathe in and out. That's the cardiac valve. And then halfway on the left, between your belly button and your left hip bone, halfway, this is the Houston valve. Breathe in, breathe down. Breathe in and out. So when the digestive valves are out, we're supposed to keep different digested levels of food in different parts of our body. So foods should stay in the stomach until the stomach digestive juices have done everything that they should. And then the valves open up, it lets it through to the small intestine. Then the small intestine works with the liver, gallbladder, pancreatic enzymes to help to break down everything in the small intestine. So the valves are meant to open and close at different times. So when our gut isn't working properly, sometimes the valves aren't working. Now the cardiac valve and the Houston valve, they both work together, and the iliacus and I've gone blank. These two are supposed to work together. So basically, if they're not working, then we can get constipated, we can have diarrhea, all sorts of things like that. When these ones are out, then we're more likely to develop parasitic symptoms, because the appendix actually releases a huge amount of anti-parasitic enzyme activity. So when we have had our appendix removed, or these valves simply aren't working, we're more likely to have intestinal infections. So there's still something else we need to do with large intestine. And large intestine very much is about internalized grief, guilt, regret. Okay. So we need to improve self-worth, get you feeling better about yourself. Allow you to let go. Letting go of the past, letting go of old hurts, letting go of anyone, any damaging things people have said to you. And releasing feelings of powerlessness. Releasing feelings of powerlessness. I am powerful. I am compassionate. I am powerful. I am compassionate. I am open. I am powerful. I am compassionate. I am open. Okay. So once again, still something else with this, with the large intestine. Let me just ask in relation to parasites and parasitic infections. Okay. So parasites and parasitic infections. Parasites and parasitic particles. Yeah. So just get your immune system recognizing them. When we do have parasites, one of the white blood cells, the eosinophils, is one of the white blood cells that has the biggest job in relation to sopping up parasites and changing the environment so that they don't thrive. So this is an energy mismatch to parasites. optimal balance of T helper 1, 2, 3, 17 in relation to parasites. Okay. Optimal levels of eosinophils in relation to parasites. No, okay. So we're after optimal levels of eosinophils. Okay, optimal levels of eosinophils. Optimal levels of eosinophils. Eosinophils are always higher in the blood when we have parasites or allergies going on. So if we've got one or the other, then sometimes we don't have enough to deal with the other. So just say, for example, you're gluten intolerant, but you also have parasites. Where does the body spend the energy? Your body only has so much energy to go around at one time. If something's really out of kilter, it can affect the way everything else is working. Optimal levels of eosinophils. Optimal levels of eosinophils. Optimal levels of eosinophils. Okay, anything further with this, with the large intestine? Yep, still something else. Okay, what do we need? A tuning fork combination in relation to the large intestines. So large intestines very much about grief, guilt, regret. Lungs, we internalise grief, guilt, regret. Large intestine, we externalise grief, guilt, regret. So those are the two organs in the metal element that feed each other. Okay, and if you're sleeping through the night or not, 3 to 5 a.m. is lung time, 5 to 7 a.m. is large intestine time. So sometimes those two times, and once again they feed each other, so they can be affecting each other if you're having any sleep issues. Okay, let's have a look. What do we need tuning forks? So going through there. Okay, so no surprise, the first element we need is this large intestine. So what's the second tuning fork we need? Oh, okay, so we need lung. So we need large intestine and lung. So it's all about that metal element of internalised and externalised grief, guilt, regret, and all that family of emotions. So the combination of lung and large intestine energy, so large intestine's the yang and lung is the yin, it's when there's an imbalance between desperation and greediness. So we're all greedy for something at some part in our life. It's not necessarily, we're greedy for love, we're greedy for support, we're greedy for people in our worlds that support, protect and love us. So it's not as bad as it sounds, but it's basically our body is thirsting and driving something. Our body wants something and gets to that spot where there's desperation for it. The flower essence showing up, Sturt Desert Pea. Okay, so the Sturt Desert Pea is about pain, sadness, deep hurt. So I might stop this and start again so that we can have the tuning forks separately.